Victoria Cazares is a student here at Laredo College. She's joining me this afternoon. Hi, Victoria. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
I do this every time now, so I feel like I have to do it and continue to do it. It's good to meet you. Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Tell me a little bit about yourself first. Where'd you go to high school? Where'd you go to elementary, middle, all that good stuff?
So for elementary, I went to Bonnie Garcia Elementary. Middle school, I went to United South Middle School. And high school, I went to United South High School. I'm currently a freshman in college. I'm majoring in political science, but my plan is to double major in political science, politics and law, and minor in business and psychology. I am a work study here at Workforce Development Center, and I am a part of student government where I hold the position of a senator.
Nice.
Yes.
Cool. Well, you just answered everything I was going to ask you. No. Do you want to become a lawyer by any chance, or you want to get into politics?
Yeah, so politics to me has always been like one of my favorite things, because since I was little, I've always had this passion to want to help people, I've always wanted to make a difference, especially in my community, because I see how underrepresented we are, and I see how a lot of people like us are scared to speak up because they're scared that something might happen to them, So my goal in life is to become an attorney, open up my law firm, be a politician here in Laredo, and God willing, run for governor 2040.
Wow, very lofty goals, and I'm sure you can do it, Victoria.
Yes.
You sound like you've got the right mindset for it. So did you find yourself in elementary and middle school and high school getting involved and realizing that you wanted to do this, or when did you feel like this is what you wanted to do?
Well, in all honesty, my whole life, I've always wanted to be a lawyer ever since I was in elementary. I just knew that's what I wanted to do. And well, as I started to get older, COVID hit when I was in 8th grade in middle school, and everything went virtual. Mm-hmm. So because it went virtual, it was very hard for me to learn, and I lost that motivation of wanting to learn and pursue education. And came my sophomore year of high school, I had missed out on a year and a half of socializing. I went back on campus and I completely just lost myself. I had no care in the world for education. I didn't care about school. I was failing all my classes. I wanted to drop out. I just didn't care. And
you attribute that to the time away because of COVID?
Yes, because of COVID and because of everything that had happened throughout that time in COVID.
Yeah.
So I completely lost it. And came my junior year of high school, I realized that this isn't what I want. Like, I want to be successful. I want to pursue the education. I want to become an attorney. And I said, well, you know what? No one's going to do it for you. You have to put in the work. So my junior year, summer of junior year, going into senior year, I told myself that I was going to use it as a reset button to prove to myself that I could do it. So I started reading. I started joining clubs. I joined Congress. I joined debate. I started placing first, second, third.
In high school?
In high school.
Okay.
Yes. I started getting more involved. I was able to pick up my grades, and I was able to join the National Honor Society, where then I became an officer. All in a span of a year. I joined the Rotary Club. I started doing Rotary Club speeches as a way of getting scholarships. And the Rotary Club is what opened so many doors for me, where I then was able to meet this lady named Anna Wershing, where she allowed me to have an opportunity to work at RISC, Rio Grande International Study Center, which then opened so many more doors for me in the field of politics. I was able to social network with Congressman Henry Cuellar, Judith Santorini, and other politicians up in Austin, and that opened so many doors for me. And I was able to see, like, is this what I want to do? And I grew such a passion for it because I saw how advocating for people and advocating for the things that were right it was the only way that we were going to make change, especially in today's society, seeing how everything's going and how a lot of people have this mentality that, oh, politicians don't care, they just care about the money, it's corruption. Well, in this case, it's completely different, because when you're young, you dedicate your whole youth to partying, to being out, going with your friends. I dedicated my whole youth to politics because I don't care about the money. I actually care about helping people and making change, And I've seen how here in Laredo, we don't progress, we don't change. It's because we have the same people. So to me, I would rather dedicate my entire youth learning from these people and learning what it is that we can do to progress as people, so that I can then be able to help make that change happen.
When you flipped that switch back in high school, what was it that triggered it? What is there something specific that you can pinpoint that made you say, okay, wait, this is not how I want to continue my educational career?
Yes. So my grandma had passed away back in the summer of 22, and she saw how bad I was doing in school, and she knew that I was always very driven. She knew that I always wanted to be a lawyer. She knew that I always cared about people. And when I kind of just stopped caring, that's when she told me, like, this isn't you, and it makes me very disappointed to see that you're just throwing your life away. And that coming from her on her deathbed, it kind of just like, it sparked something in me, and I said, you know what, I want to make her proud. I want everything that I do is going to be for her. And I told her that, and I remember she told me, she says, you're very capable. You're just lazy. You don't want to do it. And it's not that you don't want to do it. Sometimes you just lack that motivation, you know? So I was like, you know what, she's right. And that's when I started praying, and I said, well, I was very lost, you know, and I started praying, and if it wasn't for God either, I wouldn't be able to be where I am now, because he's allowed so many opportunities for me as well. And because this is my story, and I was able to see how I did it, how I changed, I believe that if I can do it, other people can do it too. And sometimes you just need that one person to kind of give you that push. And that's one thing that I want to do, because this is my story. It's something that I'm not ashamed of, because yes, although it was very bad, it is possible to change. And it is possible because I did it. And if I can do it, so can you. And that's one thing that I want people to understand, and I want people to realize that it's never too late. As long as you still have air in your lungs and you can breathe, you can still change, and you still have time to make things better for yourself.
That's an amazing story, Victoria. And really, life is about learning how to, once you do fall down or you do fail, it's learning how you react to that, how you respond to that. It seems like you responded in a very big way. It was like a big change from one moment to the next. Do you think you had that same passion before COVID, or do you think it got stronger the second time around?
I think it got very stronger, in my opinion, because also one thing I also realized was it was also the friends that I surrounded myself with. I'm a very big believer in you are who you surround yourself with. So whatever you put in, you put out. If you surround yourself with a certain type of individuals, that's the type of individual you're going to become. So if you have all these goals and you have this mindset that you want to win, you have to surround yourself with people who want to win. And although it is very rare to find people like that, it's okay to be alone, because I would rather grow by myself than to grow with people who are just bringing me down. You're not giving yourself that full potential to grow, you know? So that's also another thing that I realized, that back in middle school, back in high school, I was with the wrong crowds. I was doing things I wasn't supposed to. And that's when I realized this is enough. And I had to put my foot down, even if it meant losing all my friends. But then again, that just goes to show you who really are your friends, you know, because your real friends support you. Your real friends will never drag you down. And that's one thing I realized, that I didn't have any of those, and I was okay with that. And well, ever since then, I've been able to grow as a person, and as I've grown as a person, I've changed as a person. I've been able to find people who fit my category and who understand me and who want to win just like I do, because then we support each other, we help each other. You know, whenever you start to feel like you can't do it anymore or something's going on, you're always going to have them to push you up. But one thing I will say is never depend on them, you know, never depend on them to push you to your best, because the only one that can do that is yourself.
They're just a support system.
It's
they're
just
the
a
ones
support
that are around
system.
you that you choose to have around you, because you know they're going to be there when you do.
Yes, and obviously whenever you want to grow as a person and you want to change and you want to do better for yourself, you're always going to have those people too that are going to try to bring you down. And one thing that I always say is it's a choice to let it hurt you. Because this is an example that I always give people. If a Chinese person comes and starts speaking to you and starts cussing you out in Chinese, you're not going to understand what they're saying, so you're going to laugh, because that word holds no value. It's the same thing with people. When people tell you things and they try to bring you down, you're the one that's giving those words power. Therefore, it's your choice if you're going to allow those words to affect you or not. And that's one thing that I'm very big on, because you're always going to have those people who are not going to want what's best for you. And when that happens, never let it bring you down. Just brush it off. Brush it off.
Let's switch gears a little bit here. Tell me about your time here at Laredo College. You started last August, or did you start in the summer, or when did you start here at LC?
I started in August.
In August.
Yes.
What has been your experience so far, or your thoughts about your time here at Laredo College?
I love Laredo College. I honestly, when I thought I was going to come to college, I thought it was going to be very difficult. I wasn't going to have any friends. I didn't think that it was just going to work for me at all. But ever since I got here, I've had so many amazing opportunities open up for me. I've had amazing professors who really love their students and actually really want them to learn. They're very helpful. I have amazing friends here. I have amazing people that I surrounded myself with student government, at my job. Amazing opportunities that my job has opened to. I've been able to social network a lot, which I have been able to talk to other people, which have allowed me to have internships probably in the summer. I've seen the life here, and I've seen how everyone here knows each other. You know, we all come from the same culture, so in a way we all relate to each other. It's amazing here. I really love it. It's very peaceful. It's a different environment. It's not like high school. In high school, no one really wants to go to college because they have this idea that, oh, you're going to be stuck in a classroom for 8 hours. You have no freedom. Here, it's like you're free. You know, everything here, no one's going to be telling you what to do. It's either you do it or you don't. It's much more relaxing. It's much more peaceful. It's not as stressful as I thought it would be. Yes.
Since you've been here, let me ask you this before I ask, did you consider somewhere else before Laredo College, or you always thought about Laredo College? Were you considering other places?
Yes. So the main school that I wanted to go to was UTSA, and the reason given is because they have a women in pre-law program where they allow you to do study abroad for 6 months and they pay everything. And it's the only school that actually pays your study abroad fully. So that was like the school that I wanted to go to, but unfortunately I couldn't go due to financial aid issues that I was having. So, but that is somewhere that I do plan on transferring. Sure. But I'm pretty sure by now my mentality has been kind of switching to UT. I want to go to UT and get my degree over there, especially for law school as well. Since
you've been here, have you seen a lot of resources on campus to help students?
Yes, actually, I have seen a lot of resources to help students. Some of them is actually where I work, Workforce Development Center. There we help students with resumes. We help students with job interviews. We help them we help them apply for jobs. We help them do mock interviews. So say they're about to have their first interview because they've never had a job and they're kind of nervous. They don't know what to expect. We kind of walk them through it as to what to expect so they're not as nervous. I've seen that we have the Kaizen, you know, we have restaurants here. It makes it a lot easier for a lot of students so that they don't have to go out and get food. You know, we have our Palomino card where they get money, so it's beneficial there too. Some benefits too that I've seen is the Student Success Center.
Okay.
I know one thing that I had learned recently is that they help students. So say you run out of gas or something happens to you and you're going through financial crisis, they will make exceptions and like they'll help you out. You know, there's always that help. If you get a flat tire and you don't have money to fix your tire, you can just go sign a waiver and they personally will pay for your tire. You know, so, or say you run out of gas, you're low on gas, you need money, they'll go ahead and give you that help, that card of money. So I feel like those little things, we have the pantry, you know, if for at any reason you're hungry, you don't have food at home, you want a snack, you want clothes, you can go to the pantry too, and it provides those little things. Although it's not really big, it's still something, and I think that even then it's very beneficial to those in need.
Well, it's part of the individual. If you don't have food or you don't have the clothes, it's going to be hard to complete your education because you're going to be discouraged. So they're very big resources that are here on campus, Victoria. Who's your role model?
My role model? It's a very good question. It's a very good question.
Somebody in your family, maybe? I mean, it could be somebody in your family. It could be someone in your circle, or maybe somebody on the national scene or international scene.
I would have to say one of my role models would probably be, I'd have to say, that's a very good question.
Sounds like your grandma had a big influence in your life.
She did. She really did. She was a very sweet lady. She was a very sweet man. I would say my grandma, honestly, because I mean, everything that I'm doing is for her. You know, she always believed in me. She always said that I could do it even when I thought I couldn't do it. Every time I would doubt myself or people would doubt me, she would always be there to tell me that, no, I could do it. And I guess I would have to say that ever since she passed away, everything that I do is for her. But in a way, I would also say myself, you know, because I push myself. I'm very hard on myself, and I push myself because I tell myself, if you don't do it, no, who will, you know? So one thing that I do a lot to keep myself motivated is I like to read books. I like to read books about investments, about success, about mental health, especially mental health, because I know that mental health is like one of the biggest issues. So if I had to say like who is my role model, in a way, yes, my grandma, but it would also kind of be myself, because I know that in a lot of families, there's a lot of struggles, you know, especially in Hispanic families, we have that machista mentality, you know, and a lot of the time we're grown up a certain way, and because of that, it then passes down generations to generations. With me, that's something that I don't want to do, because there's a lot of things that I don't agree with, and I feel that in order to flourish to your full potential and do great for other people, but mostly for you, have to take care of yourself, mostly for yourself. So I like to read and I like to educate myself on things to better myself so that I can then help other people. So
What do you do when you're not in class and you're not reading? Like, what do you do for fun?
what do I do for fun? I love to play the guitar. I
Really?
love guitar. I love music. I like to drive around. My favorite type of music is rock. I love rock. I like jazz.
Like current rock, classic rock?
80s rock. I'm an
80s
80s
rock.
baby.
Okay.
I love 80s. Yes, I listen to everything,
Yeah.
all types of music. But if I had to choose my favorite type of music, I'd have to say 80s.
Oh.
Jazz.
And what do you play on the guitar? And you play 80s music or you play...
I play anything, honestly. It doesn't matter. Sometimes what I like to do for fun is I go out with my friends. We go out to eat. I like to go to the park and I just like to relax. Because since I'm always busy, sometimes when I have that free time to myself, it's just more of catching up and allowing myself to see my surroundings and just relax. Or I'll sleep or I'll spend time with family.
Did you learn how to play the guitar? Did you have anybody that's a musician in the family? You teach yourself?
Well, my whole family actually is a musician. All my family is into
There you
music.
go.
I have my cousin who's in a band. Actually, they're called the Jolly Ranchers. They perform there at TAMU. They perform in city events. My family, they have a band up in San Antonio as well. My whole family comes from music, so I guess it's just in our blood. You know, it's something that nobody taught me. It's just something. It just happens. You know, so
Yeah.
I just pick up the guitar and just start playing it. You know, it'll come to you. It'll come to you.
Not to me, it won't. You have to have that gift because you can't just pick it up. Well, some people can. But
Yeah.
do you watch any movies, any shows? Do you have any particular favorites?
Yeah, so I love romance movies. Romance movies are my favorite. But I also love Suits. It's a show on Netflix. It talks about law. It talks about lawyers. That's my favorite. It motivates me to want to keep going even harder. I like to watch Criminal Minds. I watch NCIS. I watch all that stuff. To me, like, I'm not really big on TV because I really never have the time. But when I do have the time, I always like to watch like Law and Order and stuff like that. Shows about law. I watch videos about psychology. I watch videos about growing as a person, financial, money, all that stuff. Yeah.
I think we have a pretty good picture of who you are, Victoria.
Yes.
Everything you've said just speaks to who you are and what you want to achieve in life.
Yeah.
My last question will be about anybody who, for some reason, stumbles upon this and is considering coming to Laredo College. What would you tell them?
I would tell them to go for it. You know, don't be scared. I know a lot of people, especially here in town, they always have something to say about people depending on the type of school that they go to. It doesn't matter. If there's one thing I could say is it doesn't matter where you get your undergraduate. What matters is where you get your graduate. And even then, like, other people's opinions don't matter because 10 years from now, you're not even going to be thinking about them. They won't be thinking about you. This is your future, nobody else's. If you really want to achieve something, you really want to do it, go for it. And I feel like Laredo College is the perfect place to do it because there's so many opportunities here and you will not be financially stressed. I promise you that. I promise you that. And there's always people here to help you. If you ever have any questions, feel free to stop by our office. You can stop by recruitment, financial aid, and there'll always be someone here to help you.
Where will you be here in 10 years?
10 years from now, I hopefully, God willing, I see myself already graduating law school, probably a politician, and hopefully having a family.
Victoria, congratulations.
Yes.
Keep up the good work, and I'm
Thank
excited
you
to
so
see.
much.
I'm excited to see you in 10 years if I'm still around, at least.
You will be.
All right,
Yes.
thanks, Victoria.